That no job is so important and no service so urgent that sufficient time or precaution cannot be taken to perform them safely. That accident prevention is an inherent responsibility of each employee and a measure of each supervisor's efficiency. That safety is essential to the wise use of men, materials, and equipment. Safety then involves men, materials, and equipment. It is a part of our job to think safety as we go about our day-to-day work of flying planes, building new ways to help salmon get upstream, operating a drag line on a distant refuge, or a bulldozer to create man-made dunes to help preserve our coastal marshes. Accidents don't just happen to employees working with power tools and equipment, although some occupations are essentially more hazardous than others. Accidents happen when we become complacent or lack proper training. When we ignore safe practices with a mistaken notion that injuries happen to the other fellow. We must think and act safely to protect each other and to conserve essential materials and equipment. Work injuries during a recent 10-year period cost us over $1 million. 1 of every 12 service employees was involved. Compensation for injuries in 1 year alone, injuries resulting usually from management errors, could have staffed 2 large hatcheries or manned 3 exploratory fishing vessels. In a recent year, accidental property damage losses could have bought, for example, 15 Jeeps or pickups, or 2 modern, fully equipped fish distribution trucks. In the same year, fire losses were enough to equip the finest laboratory or provide the necessary buildings and equipment for 2 major refuges. Safety is a healthy mental attitude. Most accidents can be avoided through employee training, providing proper tools, protective equipment and materials, and by use of physically fit personnel. Unsafe conditions or the performance of unsafe acts are a direct reflection on management. Recognizing and correcting this will bring about fewer personal injuries and equipment accidents. Handling materials and things results in more injuries than any other single cause. Our work includes handling wild animals, fish, birds of all kinds, and maintenance and construction tools. So, our everyday duties become routine, and we perform them without much conscious thought or effort. In other words, we do them by habit. And because of the wide variety of duties, each job has certain built-in dangers, which we must recognize and guard against. In handling materials, lifting is a frequent cause of lost time injuries. There is a recognized way to lift bulky or heavy boxes and packages. Each employee should be made aware of this use of body leverages. Applying brains to a lifting job can reduce the danger of serious back injury or hernia. Size up the load and the work area. Be alert for sharp edges or protruding nails. Now, another look as the supervisor points out the importance of the legs. Feet are spread and firmly placed. Lifting is accomplished by pushing up with the leg muscles, the load cradled close to the body. The spine is relatively straight. Back as near vertical as possible, with minimum strain on the back muscles or spine. Shift the feet for a change in direction. And avoid sudden or jerky movements. Depositing a load uses the same techniques. In reverse, employees with a history of back injuries or a tendency toward hernia or heart conditions should not be assigned strenuous lifting. Sufficient personnel should be assigned to lifting jobs which exceed the weight, bulk, or shape one person can safely handle or when footing is uncertain. Carrying long, flexible lengths of reinforcing steel might call for more than 2 men to handle the load. In this work scene, we have a waste of manpower. Normal, safe working conditions are being ignored. Obviously, this is a more economical and safer use of manpower. Here, power is being supplied by a tractor, while 2 employees replace 5 on the log. The 2 men wearing protective equipment, hard hats, gloves, and safety shoes guide the log while lifting is done by power. Planning the job makes the difference. The use of mechanical aids to provide safer handling of heavy loads should be encouraged wherever possible. 3 or more persons would normally be required to handle this welding equipment being safely loaded onto a pickup truck by 1 worker using a hand-powered tailgate lift. Later model tailgate lifts for pickups and larger trucks are power-operated by the push of a button, thus relieving the operator. Loads to 500 pounds or more can be readily handled. Manpower is saved, and the danger of costly back injury or hernia is greatly reduced. Mechanical lifting of fish food, grain, and other materials used in our everyday operations and maintenance can save valuable time and manpower while performing the job safely. Power lifting also overcomes the fatigue problem, which often reduces efficiency in safe operations where long, arduous lifting jobs are required of employees. At this hatchery, a mechanical forklift easily raises, moves, and loads several hundred pounds of boxed ground salmon for transfer to a freezer. The transfer of fish from raceways to distribution trucks is not readily adaptable to the use of power. Back injuries and hernia often result from high manual lifts of this type. An alert hatchery employee, realizing this, developed a non-skid ramp that eases the lift and speeds the operation. Here, such ramps are used to advantage. Once again, the safer way is the more efficient. Packaging plays an important role in avoiding lifting injuries and conserving manpower. 75 to 80 pounds is enough for 1 man to lift and carry. Lifting jobs can often be done with a chain hoist. In this shop, it is a quick way of lifting a heavy truck. Supports or blocks are used to safely hold the weight. Hoists or mechanical jacks should never be used as the prime support when it is necessary to work under a vehicle. Falls rank second only to material handling as a cause of work injuries. Falls from standing equipment rank high, and they often result from an employee slipping on oil, grease, mud, or other foreign matter. Frequently, misjudgment, inattention, or haste causes the fall. Field employees must be ever alert to the danger of undependable footing. Loose rocks, vines, holes, and hidden obstructions add to the hazards when traveling through rough country. A careful workman tests his footing. Such a habit should become second nature. Skid-resistant soles help prevent falls. However, they do not take the place of an alert employee. Some hatcheries have installed inexpensive material to provide firm footing where the presence of water might contribute to a serious accident. Anti-skid adhesives and paints are available. They are effective for use on equipment, on vehicle steps, on concrete, wood, or metal surfaces. Such material was put to good use by this safety-minded hatchery manager. Light, strongly constructed aluminum walkways have replaced wooden ones in some hatcheries. They are stronger, safer, and lighten the handling burden. The use of hand tools accounts for its share of accidents and lost time injuries. Some accidents are caused by the thoughtless use of tools. Others because of the failure to train employees in their proper use and care. For that reason, skilled workers have a lower accident rate. Poorly lighted or hidden service areas are an open invitation to poor housekeeping. Combined with the storage of flammables, we create a serious fire hazard. In this shop, workspace is hard to find. Tools are scattered. The worker has to contend with many booby traps as he goes about his duties. Job efficiency is impaired. A clean work area lowers the accident rate, raises productivity, and boosts worker morale. Good housekeeping is a sign of good management. Protective clothing is the badge of the thinking worker and of the wise manager. Where there is danger of falling things, the hard hat gives protection. In the woods and on construction projects, it's a must. Safety shoes are an added safeguard which should not be overlooked. Danger areas such as low door openings, pipe drops, and beams should be marked with high visibility, color-coded tape or paint. Better still, structural changes may be made to eliminate the problem. An alert supervisor corrects an unsafe condition as soon as it is discovered. Accident prevention often profits an employee under our incentive awards program. Changes in equipment or methods may be stimulated by a near miss, an accident that almost happened. An alert employee applies his thinking to the problem and comes up with a practical solution, a safer tank cover brace. A simple carboy holder makes pouring easier. It removes the danger of spilling liquids or dropping the container, which could cause personal injury or property damage. Some activities are hazardous under the most favorable conditions. Training and teamwork are safety devices of considerable importance, and they assure getting the job done. Special training may be needed. Often, a few precautionary words from the supervisor will provide the safety guidance. Progress brings about new types of operations, some involving a whole new approach to safety. Not only do ordinary precautions need to be met as we go into the so-called space age, but as in the case of underwater research and studies, new safety techniques have to be developed to meet these new situations. Even methods of trapping wild birds have gone modern. Present techniques make use of the mortar or cannon trap, which utilizes electrical firing of explosive charges to hurl a net over the heads of geese, baited to the trapping area. Well, look who's back with us. Our fall victim has returned to look over the site of his injury. Accident analysis is an important part of any safety program. Prompt, accurate, descriptive reporting, while details are fresh in mind, serve to point the way to corrective action. With all the situations we've shown you, we still want you to keep in mind simple safety measures covering everyday work. The use of safety belts, hard hats, of gloves when handling sharp, rusty, or otherwise unsafe materials. Practice proper lifting. Exercise care in walking. Hazards don't always warn of their presence. Wear eye protection and respirators when needed. Avoid infection by prompt first aid treatment of injuries. Remember again, safety is the wise use of men, materials, and equipment. Correct unsafe conditions and unsafe acts, or report them to your supervisor. And finally, protect yourself and your family. Take home with you the safety you learn on the job. Practice safety everywhere, all the time.